Hey everyone, it's Seim, and today I'm going to give you a quick start guide in how to use Lumist 3 to just do amazing things with tone and shadow and depth in your edits. And I'm going to show you how to get started quickly, because the core of Lumist is that it's really intuitive. In fact, usually when people have problems, it's on the installation. So let me just show you that super fast. I have the download, and you want to unzip the download, and all the stuff you need is inside here. So we have our CC version for current versions of Photoshop, and if you're doing legacy like CSX, choose that. And inside is your action or your ATN file. And by the way, this pretty much works for all of our actions. Now, typically, you can just double click this, and it's associated with Photoshop, and you can see if you come into Photoshop, it loads right here. I'm going to drag it to the top here of the list, and there is Lumist in the Actions panel. What if you don't have the Actions panel? That's easy also. I keep it handy all the time because it's an integral part of the workflow, but you can see right here, you can just turn it on or off, and then you can move the box around, and I keep it right over here on the right side. Now, just in case your file's not associated or you have a problem, typically you can just drag the ATN file onto the Photoshop icon. So you can like shift and drag onto Photoshop, or you can drag it onto the dock in Mac, and it's going to load it. And we can look in here and see that it loaded it again. Now I'm going to go down here to the trash icon and delete that, because you only want Lumist installed one time. In fact, if you're doing updates, make sure you delete the old version. This is true of presets, actions. Now in your download folder, you might see this texture pack, and this is on a lot of my actions because it allows them to do the really advanced things that we're doing and making the hard stuff in Photoshop easy. Again, you can just double click, or you can click and drag, and you can also go to the patterns panel, which of course you can also open from here if you don't have it. So you can just drag this into the panels panel, you can drag it down into the dock, you can double click it, or if all else fails, in both of these cases, you can click the three little dots up here and import patterns and just select the file. It's worth noting that with actions, you can do the same thing, click the three little dots and go down to load actions, and that just lets you browse to wherever the actions are. But again, normally just double click it. Just make sure that you're installing the right version for your Photoshop, and you install the textures pack and put in the latest version. This textures pack works across various of my action sets like Lumist, Pictorialist, Emulsion, things like that. So if you're already using one of those, just install the latest version and you can delete the old version. Now, the patterns panel, you don't really need to leave open. Once the textures are in there, you can do whatever you want with it because the actions are going to use those automatically. What you do want to do to use actions in the best way is go over and switch, using the three dots, go to button mode, and boom. Now you have this panel style design and everything is right here. Now let's take a quick look at how to use Lumist fast and easy. It's very intuitive, and the beauty of it is the more you edit with Lumist, the more you're going to understand zones and tone in camera as well. In fact, that's an amazing side effect of using Lumist. Now Lumist is loaded, it's in button mode. Always start with this red action where it says start build map. Click it and just let it go. The things I'm doing in Photoshop with actions is basically hacking Photoshop. So here's your zones, and these numbers are overlaid in real time. This is your zone system, and you can now go down and work with those zones. Before we do that though, there's two modes. There's off mode, of course, so you can see what your image is. There's the classic mode, which shows this full kind of false color overlay that's coordinated down here with the zone scale and the colors. So that's the classic mode. It's also a live map, which you'll see here in a second. And there's the new liquid mode, which is just really cool because it just shows you exactly where the zones are. Okay, a lot of this stuff's pretty self-explanatory, like if you want to delete the Lumist map when you're done with it so you don't save extra layers in your file. And we'll cover more of these little nitty-gritty things in the advanced Lumist class that I'm going to do after this video. What do you do with this? Well, there's a few ways to do it. The basic luminosity masking way is you can say, hey, here's the map, and you're looking at your tones and you say, okay, this is dark. Here's the face, zone 5, 6, 7. My sky's bright. So what do I do about my sky being bright? Well, I could just say select zone 8, right? And it's selected. I could say, no, also select zone 9 and 10. Now, if I click one zone and then another, it's adding those zones to the selection and showing you this nice, cool selection overlay. Now, typically, not always, you want to feather this. And that's why it's not included automatically in the selection, because there are times, like a subject selection, where you might want it to be really precise. Okay, so here I'm going to feather. I usually click this once or twice, depending on how soft I want things to be. All you have to do is click literally any effect in Lumist. So that could be basic luminosity tone masking things like the lighten curve, the darken curve, a clean curve, etc. But it could also be any of these effects, burn and dodge tools, these combo tools, as it were, that build various layers. Any effect you apply in Lumist, when your selection is active, it automatically will apply a mask to that. Let me show you what I mean. Let's go to something simple right up here at the top. For a reason is the tone mastering tools. Let's just do a darken curve. Watch what happens. It runs the curve, and you can see that our selection is instantly and automatically applied to that. So we're getting this luminosity based mask without any of the hassles, without any confusion. Click, 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 done. And watch, if I turn this layer on and off, you can see that zone map changing in real time to reflect how we altered those tones. Now let's click up here, turn the map off so we can see the image, and you can see here is what we've done. Now look, I didn't feather enough. It's kind of hard, right? So do we have to redo it? No, there's a tool for that too. All of this selection toolbox is right underneath your selection. So you can select midtones, highlights, a specific zone, feather it, etc. But let's say you come to this and you're like, oh, it's still a little bit too hard. Well, go to your selection toolbox. Here you can remask, which is to reset your mask or apply a new selection to it. You can add a selection to a mask. You can subtract a selection from a mask. You can do things like limit this mask only to the sky, right? So if I click limit to sky, now it runs the sky selection and it limits this mask to the luma values we selected, but also only to the sky. Again, they're kind of self-explanatory. Select, create something, control and limit and adjust the masks as needed. Now we mentioned this was too hard, right? Well, you don't have to redo it. If you go right down here, you can see feather current mask by 25 pixels more, okay? So it doesn't change the mask, it just continues softening it. And you can click this as many times as you want to get the level of softness that you want. And now, boom, boom, we've done that mask. And we can adjust it to our heart's content. We can continue viewing our tones, we can turn it on and off, we can make selections. We can also do these combos that you may not even need to make a selection. These BD tone mastering tools, the one-click effects. So let's say I click Luminous. It's gonna run a combo action that does various layers and affects the contrast and all that. I can now go in and adjust each one of these layers to turn it up and down. And this is true of all the effects, even the basic tools like a curve. If you apply it and nothing's selected, it's just going to apply it to everything. It's very simple. But what if you want to apply a mask afterward? You absolutely can. You can make a selection here and select and then just say remask. Or let's say I wanted this to only apply to the subject. I just have my main group layer selected and I just say limit mask to subject. And it goes through, and now instead of applying to everything, this is only applying to our subject. We have more creative effects like one clicks and Luma painters and things like that. And we could say, hey, run me Beauty Dish and let's see what it does. And I might just say, no, let's only put this on the background because my subject's getting a little too bright. And boom, this is now only on the background. These one-click tools use what's built into Lumist to make complex things easy, and then if you want to, you can mask them further with the selections. For example, I can run the Sky Painter, and this is specifically designed to enhance skies. And there we go, it enhances the sky. Now you can see this is applied to everything, and I do it that way because sometimes you want that color tone to spread across the scene, like reflections on water, things like that. In fact, it looks pretty good here, but in this case, let's only apply it to the sky. I'm going to click the limit mask and boom, now we're just applying to the sky and giving ourselves a little more dynamic range and color. There's lots of tools in the one-click effects and in the tone tools that will allow you to do things like highlights, shadows. You can do the deep highlight declipper, which is for more intense clipped highlights, to soften them up a bit and make them not quite so bright. There's a lot of tools in Lumist, and I'm going to cover more specifics on these in the advanced Lumist user guide. But I wanted to make sure in this quick start guide that you could just get in here, load the actions, and at the end of the day, you make a selection, you run an effect, and it's going to apply that selection to any of these effects in blue, purple, or yellow. Or you run any of these, and then you just retroactively make a selection or use one of the selection tools to limit what it applies to with just a click. So you don't have to stress about the order, because the order of the day is intuitive. Apply the looks you like. And by the way, if you run something and you say, no, I don't like it, but also you have the revert to last effect button, you click it and it simply reverts to the last state automatically. It's a lot of little things that we put into Lumist 3 to make it more intuitive, along with just making it better about everything that it can do. Because the key here is that as you stack these up, you're just going to start getting these amazing effects. If you look at the final here, I'm not going to cover all of these in this video. We'll do that more in the advanced video. But look at everything we did here. If I delete all these, you can see that we're controlling a lot of nuances. The photo was already good. The point of Lumist is really coming in and being able to say, okay, I want this to be really, really refined and amazing. I want it to be the best it can be. I want to do the things that Lightroom and Capture One and Raw editors simply can't do, and that's what Lumist does. I hope you guys found this useful. Hit that like, subscribe button. If you don't have Lumist, I'll put a link to it in the comments. And also you can go to the Lumist page to check out the advanced videos and the other samples and guides as well. All right, you guys, let me know if you have questions. We'll see you soon.